What's popping, gamers? Can smile. Contrary to common belief and my shitty cosplay, Kunkka isn't actually a pirate. He is an admiral in the navy, which is like the opposite of a pirate. Or is he? That is not the myth I'm about to debunk, but it's still a fun fact. And we are gonna talk more about that, but before that, let's brief over his artifact underlords and general Dota lore. In Underlords, Ren and Kunkka are allies, but Ren is a bit worried about his rival, Tidehunter. In Artifact 2, we only hear about him in Clear the Deck, where Tidehunter is hunting him. In Dota 2 voice lines, we also constantly hear Kunkka and Tide talking smack, and they obviously have a turbulent past. But why do they hate each other so much? What caused it? In some voice lines, they even seem kind of friendly, like they were allies way back. Kunkka is from Clad, a collection of islands where the Suicide Mages live and the powerful Cladish Navy calls its home. The Suicide Mages are called that because their magic involves summoning ancestral spirits at the cost of their own lives, and as we will get back to, they can maybe even permanently summon them or lock them in limbo. But using their ultimate ability costs them their lives, which is why they have the Suicide name. Kunkka's sword, the Tidebringer, has an ancestral spirit inside it, which gives it special powers to summon ghost ships. The Cladish Navy is another faction of Clad, which Kunkka used to be an admiral of. His primary task was defending the Clad Isles. Their colors are, as you can see on Kunkka, blue and gold. Like I said, Clad is made up of many isles, one of which is the Trembling Isle. The Trembling Isle has hosted two great battles, the first of which Kunkka won and took the hat of the enemy captain, and the second one is much more infamous, and we will get back to it. The Trembling Isle itself is surrounded by treacherous waters, likely meaning strong weather and currents. Kunkka's relationships are overwhelmingly just Tide plus some fishy and some undead heroes. Have a listen to some of them.
Siren, you can stop calling me now. You're not the worst of your kind, Slardar, but you're typical of them. Is Death truly that woman's mate? He was a rather portly authority.
Kunkka, I thought I left you on the bottom of the sea.
Ah, Undying, we'll make a ghastly crew. With a helm like that, Sven, I dub thee my helmsman.
You and what navy, Kunkka?
I was under you the whole time, drilling holes in your hull.
Die in slime, Admiral Mouthbreather.
Where is your axe, parrot?
I'll have my vengeance yet, Kunkka!
I'll be back for you, Tidehunter. Tidehunter. More like Dead Hunter. Curse my name all you like, Tidehunter. It only makes me grin.
In Dota 1, he is Kunkka, the master and commander of the Seven Seas, though few know his actual name. Some call him Captain Coco, some Jack Sparrow, which is a reference to the Pirates of the Caribbean, and some the legendary Mariner. Kunkka is actually the name of an artist who made loading screens and other things for Dota 1 and Dota 2. He is named in his honor. Other names of Kunkka is Dalen Proudmoore and Captain Obvious. Dalen Proudmoore is a Warcraft character which is his Dota 1 model. Other trivia, his voice lines for Slardar, Death Prophet, Doom, Windranger, and Ancient Apparition comes from the poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. His voice line,
Rough seas ahead, crew. Strap me to the mizzen when I give the word.
probably references when Odysseus wanted to get strapped to his mast in the Odyssey so he could hear the siren songs without getting lured. So, it's time to finally talk about Kunkka and Tidehunter. And to really understand the relationship, we have to open up the Archronicus and read the Summoning Seas poem. Because if most lore experts are to be believed, this poem is about the two of them and Meilron. Beyond the reach of Southwards and where summer's warmth, there's not roam songs tells of ancient treasures lost worth more than titles, lands, and home. At night sky streaking ribbons glow, chill ocean's maze of jagged frost will once betray the best of men where Bolden's captains fear to cross. Within the said a hidden coast, unknown to neither map nor man, where once there died a seaborn fiend washed up along its sandy span. Inside his corpse the legend claim a gemlet hid away from sight. Who dares hold this stone unique shall seal hidden from Safret. From whence the single frigate sailed, no soul still lives to dare recall. Brave voyage launched into the cold, afraid of neither gale nor squall. To southern ice and wind they forged, the dauntless crew did plot their trek. In times of hills of flow and berg, gave glimpse of land to all on deck. Upon an Arctic shore they spied frost-touched remains of monster vast. All marks from briny wars they saw, and ice-like teeth to dwarf their mast. On darkened beach was set the host to excavate this mortal coil. Their picks and tools they lifted high, then dug into their grisly toil. For days and days they hacked and crawled as stained was speech and ancient gore. The ribbon tissue deep they delved and wrought their path to monsters carved. From human depths came glowing dim, strange spectral light of emerald hue that gem is size of finder's fist. Worm crew rejoice, old songs protrude. Return to deck with treasure held as one a crew did choke their breath. For range they were by razor yard, ghost ships unsunk and those past death. For hidden from the common eye are ones adrift when lifeblood fails. Bright gem grins truth to sight they learned, and thence its fright to racing sails. Yet gasless shades no harm intend, but warning men whose air still drawn to bring sights tongue to waters wide would raise the wrath of deep Melron. A day and 12 on ocean waves, past laden anxious crews retreat when came long shadows in their wake. Lord Melron's servants come to eat. By haste and lucky breezes bed, for dawns and scorch kept far at bay, until a wisp of earth drew far when fickle fortunes winds betrayed. As beasts drew under ship to strike, robots were filled with man and loot. Crews were heavy, chain away to crash ships anchor on seas brute. Then Declan Porta's sea-based scale put tenor fury came aboard in frenzied panic. 3 boats fled with ship entangled, crack and roar through 3 feelers, twist and squeeze, while Hulmid went into frozen surge. As half ship sank with measured call, his gems to move the nearest shore verge. In rush pursuit the Kraken swam to overtake the first boat of 3. Then Dunman froze and wreckage sank, did Hunter learn his stars set free. A second crew in horror rode, slick grasping fingers closed around. Yet once again his gem was not there, and third boat's bands and foot to ground. So terrified of Melron's rage, the thrashing scourge set anew, then breached itself upon the surf as Kraken fled its foe withdrew. Of fated crews last port and call, no grey account still deigns to say. Some firm believe they made towards home, though other tells of hangman's way. Of gem and tidal, deep God's hunt, vain quest goes on without reward. Its servants blindly come to shore to kill and raise, be put to sword. For no thrall creature of the depths, nor spirit bound in drownings keep, nor Melron the tentacular shall rest till sea's gem comes to sleep. Before I say anything, let's summarize what happened. A mysterious crew goes south to a frigid cold place looking for a fabled treasure. They find a beast on a hidden beach, and the gem of true sight is within it. They dig it out and discover that they can now see ghosts and other spooky things usually hidden, which scares them into setting sail. The ghosts, however, are nice and warns the men that if they continue to sail, Melron the ocean god will come for them and get the gem. They don't listen to the warning, and their ship gets sunk by the Kraken, which is definitely Tidehunter, with only 3 rowboats remaining with the crew trying to escape. Tide's ravage first catches one boat, then another, but the third one makes it safely to shore with the gem. There's a few interesting things about this poem. First of all, is the crew even led by Kunkka? It doesn't seem like he's an admiral here at all, instead referred to as a captain, and instead of behaving like a marine, they are looking for treasure. Sounds kind of piratey to me. Not convinced? How about the fact that the crew that survived is said to have either got home or got hanged? Why would the Navy get hanged? In Kunkka's lore, we learn he used to be in the Cladish Navy. Maybe he abandoned it for a more adventurous but illegal life? Second of all, and in my opinion the most important thing, listen again to this from near the end. For no thrall creature of the depths, nor spirit bound in drowning's keep, nor Melron the tentacular. 3 major characters, Melron, Kunkka, and Tide. While the poem in Kunkka's bio says whether he's alive or not is unknown, this, in my opinion, is soft proof he is in fact a spirit bound in drowning's keep. A living dead. Trapped in limbo by both the gem and the suicide mages. Because 3 major things are being mentioned here, Melron, Tidehunter, and Kunkka, or at least him and his crew. So why would they be referred to as all drowned? But this poem isn't about Kunkka. Like I touched on, it was the suicide mages who trapped him in limbo, not this whole gem quarrel. I know some people are gonna get mad, but there's just more evidence against it than for it. It's one of the biggest lore myths in the entire Dotaverse, even bigger than the fact that Pugna is male. That's a joke, but for real, it's not Kunkka. Please hear me out. As much as I want it to be about Kunkka and Tide's first rivalry-shaping fight, and why Kunkka is undead, the poem is just about the crew and their meeting with the gem, Melron and Tide. And it's more to show the power of those two than to highlight the relationship between Tide and Kunkka. The reason why is revealed as soon as we look at Kunkka's lore bio and compare the details. But you can rest assured that it is Tidehunter in the poem, and all the evidence that it is Tide, such as the anchor, the Kraken shell, the ravage, none of that relies on Kunkka also being in the poem for it to be true. So from Kunkka's bio, we learn that Kunkka isn't actually an adventurer. He is just a protector of the Clad Isles as the Admiral of the Navy. Why he's not anymore, we will come back to. Kunkka never set out to find the gem. Instead, what happened was the demons of the cataract was plaguing the Clad Isles, committing bolder and bolder attacks over the years. Then, it all climaxed at the Trembling Isle, where the demon fleet once and for all faced off against the Cladish navy under aid by the Suicide Mages. This is a very sad story actually, even though it doesn't seem like it at first. The Suicide Mages' ancestral magic helped barely turn the tide of the battle at the cost of their lives, by bringing back the dead spirits of the Cladish side as they fell in battle. It is even hinted that Kunkka with his Tidebringer had direct control over the magic too. Just look at this sentence. As Kunkka watched the demons take his ships down one by one, he had the satisfaction of wearing away their fleet with his ancestral magic. His ancestral magic. Not the one of the Suicide Mages. The ritual was likely a one-time thing where they sacrificed their lives, summoned ancestors, one of which merged with Kunkka's sword, and made him able to raise the fallen comrades as they fell, temporarily to aid against the demon fleet. If this wasn't chaotic enough as is, Maelron the Tentacular also decided to show as a fourth power in this battle, summoned by none other than Tidehunter. Why is not explained, other than maybe just a wild battle of demons and humans and undead on his seas. Or because the Trembling Isle is Maelron's home. He is not summoned by the Gem Lake in the poem. It could be the Treacherous Waters is literally his home, and Tide summoned him because of the noisy neighbor fight. It is known he is from a whirlpool, and the waters surrounding the Trembling Isle are described in a way where that's not very far-fetched. The ocean god has been slumbering in the depths, and now angrily surfaced to shut them up. His tentacles rose, pulling down ships, both human and demon. And now's the truly interesting part. What happened? How did it end? Even in the bio itself, it is stated that it's unknown. Listen to this. What happened in the crucible of that storm, none may truly say. The cataract roars off into the void, deserted by its former denizens. Kunkka is now admiral of but one ship, a ghostly rig which endlessly replays the final seconds of its destruction. Whether he died in that crash is anyone's guess. Not even Tidehunter, who summoned Maelron, knows for sure. Why would they even mention that he might be undead? And what does it say he used to be in the Navy? He's not the former Navy because he became a pirate. It's because he died. He's not in the Navy anymore because he is dead and alive at the same time. Like many real-life stories from old seaman tales. If it wasn't for the comment about hanging the crew after the battle, I would maybe believe that the Summoning Sea poem was about Kunkka, but it still doesn't make sense that they got scared by ghosts. They should be used to them by now. Besides, Kunkka only commands one ship, the ghost ship now. If it was in the past, he would not be a famous navy protecting the Clad Isles. By then, after this battle, his existence would already be legendary. They just don't add up. So to summarize, the Battle of the Trembling Isle and the Summoning Sea poem are separate, and second of all, the poem is about Tide only, and in Kunkka's lore bio, Tide is already hostile to Kunkka, so we don't actually know why they hate each other still. My guess is, it's more of a general hate kind of thing, where it's just, as they say in voice lines, the monster and the admiral, destined to love to hate each other. There's no one event that caused it, it's just destiny. Seaman versus sea monster is a classic and once again tasteful dynamic, just like samurai and American Western in Bounty's lore. So don't be sad that the poem isn't about Kunkka and Tide. Instead, be happy that now you can be an insufferable nerd and correct casuals who think they know about this epic theory about their relationship. For real though, I was really mad when I discovered that Kunkka isn't part of the poem, but I have to bring you the truth. And I discovered it after I had recorded the rap, so at that point I couldn't scrap it and save it for Tide's video. Trust me, I, just like you, wish it was true, but I'm sorry, it's a myth and now it's busted. This video was made for and dedicated to Fusky, my friend and Patreon. Thank you so much for your support and patience. If you want your favorite hero to be prioritized for hero lore videos, you can pledge to my Patreon. Otherwise, I just go alphabetically. Thank you all for watching and have a wonderful day. Peace.